Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. I'm just excited seeing Musa. This is a young man. Muhammad and Sami named him after my grandfather. MashaAllah. Allah protect him, inshallah, make him a righteous man. One of the righteous and the awliya, inshallah. بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله الرحمة المهداة والنعمة المزدان وله نعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فهو المهتدى ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا ما بعد. I wanted to go a little bit one page from what I discussed last time, because Imam Al-Ghazali rahimahullah, he says that how do you know if a person who teaches Islam is sincere, or a scholar, or a teacher in general? And he gave a criterion. قال فعل من لذلك علامات. You must know this has signs. إحداها أنه لو ظهر من هو أحسن منه وعظا أو أغرز منه علما والناس له أشد قبولا فرح به ولم يحسده. He said, is a teacher, if another teacher become better than him or her and more accepted, more popular, if he become like that and he become very happy for that person, that it means this person, his action, sincere for Allah. You become jealous that somebody else become more popular than them, become jealous because somebody, now he have more money knowledge than them, become jealous, that is a sign that what they ever have done is not sincere. والأخرى أن الأكابر إذا حضروا المجلس لما يتغير كلامه. He says, if important people of elite, attending his or her class, attending their gathering, they don't change their speech. They teach the same thing. They don't change the teaching because of somebody else, sitting. And he says, I'm going to give you an example of that, Imam Al-Hasan Al-Basri, in a minute. بل بقي كما كان عليه فينظر إلى الخلق بعين واحدة. To look to all people in the same way. والأخرى لا يحب اتباع الناس له في الطريق والمشي خلفه في الأسواق. That is, he does not like entourage and people walking behind him in the street and gathering. If he loved this, to have entourage when he walks in the market, that means he is not sincere. ولذلك علامات كثيرة يطول إحصاؤها. He said there's so many other signs, it will take a longer time to count all of them. And he gave an example. He says, سعيد بن مروان أنه قال كنت جالسا إلى جنب الحسن دخل علينا الحجاج من بعض أبواب المسجد ومعه الحرس. He says that we were sitting and Al-Hasan al-Basri was teaching his class, and Al-Hajjaj ibn Yusuf entered the masjid, and he has all the entourage and the guard with him, and then start looking what is in the masjid, and he have not seen a class or a halaqah has more people than a halaqat al-Hasan al-Basri. He went to it and sat in it, and sat next to Al-Hasan al-Basri. And he says, Al-Hasan al-Basri wal-Hasan يتكلم بكلام له يتكلم به كل يوم فما قطع الحسن كلامه. Al-Hasan does not change his speech, nor he change what he says. He continue. فقال سعيد سعيد said, سعيد بن أبي نوران, فقلت في نفسي لأبلون الحسن اليوم. I want to test Al-Hasan. I want to see whether the sitting of Al-Hajjaj, it will change how he speaks. Whether he starts attacking Al-Hajjaj, changing his speech, or praising Al-Hajjaj, or he get confused and, will not be able to speak like he used to be. He said he spoke the same way. Did not change anything. And Al-Hajjaj then looked at him. He says, this is a man who spoke the truth, sincere. And he said, I wish I can be in this class. And he said, the majalis al-dhikr, the gathering of dhikr, Riyadul Jannah. And he says, whether was not of the reason that I become in charge, I would have not left this gathering. But after Al-Hajjaj left, a man stood from Syria. And he says, I am an old man and I used to fight for the sake of Allah. And he says, now I don't have any that much money. They are not taking care of me and I need help. Then Al-Hasan said, it's not fair for a person who have given his life for Islam and Muslims to be treated this way. The people who are in charge, they should have taken care of him. Now he's speaking about what? Al-Hajjaj. Hajjaj left, but this man spoke after Al-Hajjaj left. And a man from the gathering went after Al-Hajjaj, said, by the way, the man just criticized you. Just spoke about you. And Al-Hajjaj called Imam Al-Hasan Al-Basri to him. And Imam Al-Hasan Al-Basri, he spoke to him and he come back. And he said, why a person among us cannot be trustworthy? We talk about something, and he tried to create fitna. And he said, Hassan al-Basri, be honest, telling his students. When you sit in this gathering, you have to have sincerity also. The student has to have sincerity as the scholar. Don't go try to spread rumors about your teacher. And then he left the class, and next day he was riding on a donkey, going toward his home from the market, and many people gathered behind him, like around him and so forth. He said, do not do this to me. My heart is not going to be soft. Do not have entourage for me. Don't give me this kind of gathering and so forth as I walk to my home. It impacts my heart. Why I said I have to read this story again? Because we have to check our hearts. How much of this social aspect of teaching impact the teacher? How much the environment that you want to create for being important, being known, and being famous, and it impacts our hearts in teaching. I read this, by the way. Why did I read it again? I read it the fourth time for myself. I read it 3 times privately, 4th for you, and for people like me who teach this. Now, then Imam Al-Ghazali now talks about بيان ما يصح من نشاط العبد للعبادة وسبب رؤية الخلق وما لا يصح. He said, what are the things that is correct or acceptable if a person shows more interest and energy to do an act of worship because people look at him or her, and what are the things that are not permissible? Abu Hanifa. وما أدراك ما أبو حنيفة رحمه الله. Since I'm going to mention Abu Hanifa, I'm going to mention Imam Malik too. To get the Ahnaf and the Malikiyah together. Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, his teacher named Hamad. Rahimahullah, Imam Hamad rahimahullah. Imam Hamad rahimahullah is a teacher that Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah respected so much, he named his son Hamad. He named his son Hamad. So Imam Hamad rahimahullah was teaching his classes. Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah was his student. A death took place in the village or the town of Imam Hamad rahimahullah. So he said to Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, sit in my class, now teach. When he came back, he asked him, how did it go? He said, Alhamdulillah. He said, tell me what kind of question you've been asked. He shared with him the questions. Some of the questions, Imam Hamad agreed with Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, and some of them did not agree with his answer. But he told him, now you can have your own halaqah. Now you're a scholar, graduated. And Imam Abu Hanifa started having a halaqah, a class. And when he saw his class become too big, he wanted people to honor his teacher. Therefore, he made sure that his class is not the same time of class of his teacher. Therefore, he would come and sit in the class of his teacher to honor him. So they tell people that how much he respects him. But Hamad did not feel jealous, Hamad, that Imam Abu Hanifa become famous. Have a madhab. Who knows madhab Hamad? Madhab Abu Hanifa, you know. But there's no jealousy there. Furthermore, Ibn Shihab al-Zuhri, who is the Imam Ibn Shihab al-Zuhri rahimahullah, he is the teacher of Imam Malik. After Imam Malik graduated from his halaqah, Imam Malik have his own halaqah. And his halaqah of Imam Malik become doubled or tripled of Imam Shihab al-Zuhri. Ibn Shihab used to, after he finished his halaqah, his class, say class is Tuesday. On Wednesday, Imam Malik class, Ibn Shihab, the teacher, would sit in the halaqah of Imam Malik. The teacher becomes a student. There's no jealousy. No jealousy. Therefore, what happened is that they used to have this sincerity. They're very happy that the student become known or even know more than them. You know? The same thing happened to Imam Malik, rahimahullah, and how much Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq, when he visited Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq, rahimahullah, alayhi salam, he will give him his pillow. He get the pillow from under him and he give it to Imam Malik to sit on it. This jealousy and things like that is a disease among the Tullab al-Ilm and the teachers and so forth. We shouldn't have that. The reason that we teach Islam is to bring people closer to Allah. That's the reason, period. Nothing else supposed to be. As you teach people Islam, that if somebody else did it better than you, leave it to them. And that's why sometimes shaitan come to you, whether you're a student or a teacher, and to try to boost your ego. You have to be careful to put your ego in check. You know? Imam Sahabi radiallahu anhu, Khalid ibn Walid. They said every war he led, he won. For people to start like, if Khalid is there, Umar radiallahu anhu, what Umar radiallahu anhu did, he took Khalid from leadership, made him a soldier. He made another person in charge. Khalid radiallahu anhu did not leave the army. Continue like a regular soldier. If you do that to somebody like me, I'm going to quit. What is this? arrogance. You have to be careful. You know? That's why they said the best leader is best follower. The best leader is the best follower. And then one of the things that I want to say is that when we make Allah is the center focus of everything we do, then don't worry about what people might say. Either you do something for Allah, it may be controversial in some people's eyes. There's no person will move in this world, will keep moving, without somebody question them. If you stay still, you don't take any risk. If you stay still, you don't take any risk. You have to move, huh? Only when you move, you take a risk. But stay still, nothing. You know? You have to move. Yeah, keep moving. Now Imam Al-Ghazali talks about what are the things that he do that is okay even if people notice it and see it. قال اعلم أن الرجل قد يبيت مع القوم في موضع. A person must spend a night with a group of people. فيقومون للتهجد. They must stand praying tahajjud. أو يقوم بعضهم فيصلون الليل كله أو بعضه. And they may pray the whole night or some of the night. And some of them وهو من يقوم في بيته ساعة قريبة فإذا رآهم انبعث نشاطه للموافقة حتى يزيد على ما كان يعتاده ويصلي وأنه كان لا يصلي بالليل أصلا. He said a person might be with a gathering of a group of people. They pray. He spend the night, and a group of people stood to pray tahajjud. And he does not pray tahajjud at home, or she doesn't pray tahajjud at home, but she's in a gathering of people who stood up at night to pray tahajjud. If that person stood up to pray tahajjud, is that a showing off? Is that showing off? Or is encouragement? They're being encouraged. That is, a person should not say to themselves, because shaitan comes to you and says, you don't pray tahajjud at home, now you're going to pray tahajjud to those people, sleep. He said, don't let shaitan do that. Now be motivated to pray tahajjud. Do it, maybe it will help you when you are home alone, you pray tahajjud. فهذا ربما يظن أنه رياء وأنه الواجب ترك الموافقة وليس كذلك على الإطلاق. That's what he said. Some people said this is showing off. He said this is not the case. Because every believer seek to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And sometimes they become motivated, sometimes voluntary prayers, and some they're less motivated. And he said there's obstacle. There's something very important here. ولكن تعوقه العوائق ويمنعه الاشتغال ويغلبه التمكن من الشهوات السهو الغفلة ولما تكون مشاهدة الغير سبب زوال الغفلة. That is why going youth camping, the youth camps, they're very important. Do you know how many young people went to youth camp, came out of this completely changed? A person might not even pray, but because he sees young people pray, and many young people told me this, they see people praying 5 times a day, they do adhkar, they come home and their parents says, what happened to you? MashaAllah, you're praying because positive peer influence, not pressure, influence. All of us young people, I was a young person one time, not now. I was influenced by my peers, that we went through this. You were around young people going to the masjid. I remember that I was in a small city called Adbara. It's not small anymore. Now it's a big city. I remember the young people used to tell me that, what do you think if we do tahajjud, qiyam, every Thursday night? Yeah, let's do it. And I told them, if we do it every Thursday night, maybe we're going to give up. Let us start with once a month. For you used to go to once a month. And subhanallah, some young people never used to pray, used to come to the Tahajjud. Because late night gathering and some food. And they start praying 5 times a day. They come to the Tahajjud for the social gathering, and then they start praying. It is very important for us to think about the social environment we are in. You know, your heart like a telephone, has a battery. Huh? You talk on the phone a lot without charging it. What happened to it? Yeah. Huh? It become dead. The heart has to be charged. And therefore, there's places in a gathering where you charge your heart. If you're in their presence, your heart gets charged. And that's why we are here to charge our hearts. Honestly. All of us, you know, you are, especially if you do work, a lot of work that deals with difficult issues, you get drained. You have a moment, you need to recharge yourself. For he says, this is not the case. Shaitan comes to you and says, you don't pray tahajjud at home, don't pray tahajjud with those people. You become a hypocrite. You say, no. Do it so that your heart becomes used to it, and then when you're by yourself, you do that. And then he talks about the awaiq. You know, there's something very important in spiritual teaching or suluk behavior. Each one of us has challenges in the journey toward Allah. Thrown out. No one is immune. It depends what the obstacle is. You call it, Imam Ghazali call it awaiq. Those hinders could be a shahwa, a desire that you would not be able to control, or you will be able to control but we are not controlling. Or could be a social environment that is not helpful for us to seek this path. Or it could be emotional, psychological, mental health that become a hindrance of us connecting. Or it could be the oppressions that we face in the way we live. There's so many challenges coming our way in this path. I was talking about this in the Friday or Saturday morning. There's a prevention and there's an intervention in the spiritual realm. You heard about that or not? Ya Akhi Kazim, listen to this. Every one of us have an opportunity to prevent spiritual sickness. But we will not be able to prevent all of it. There's a vaccination. We can vaccinate ourselves. But also there is medicine intervention we use in curing the sickness. Salah is vaccination. How? Inna salata tanha anil fahsha'i wal munkar. Salah prevent a person from doing major sin. Fahsha'i wal munkar. طيب, if you took a dose, but you have not taken the second dose for COVID, they said you're still what? Vulnerable. For there's some people, their salah, they don't concentrate in the salah. They don't pray with khushu'. They don't. No. Therefore, salah, it's good that they're praying, but it's not creating a strong immune system to them. Salli فَإِنَّكَ لَمْ تُصَلِّ. Pray, you have not prayed. And therefore, they need maybe nawafil. They need to pray extra prayer. They need other act of worship to reinforce the impact of salah in their life. But what if something sneaked in? You're praying, and then the ghafla, the shahwa, the desire so strong, overwhelm the person and commit a sin. There's an intervention. What's the intervention? It's tawbah. Tawbah, repentance. That's intervention. Tawbah will not take place unless a person become mindful of their actions. And the person will not be mindful unless they take care of something called heedless, ghafla. Take away the ghafla. The ghafla brings alertness. And if you alert, then you recognize that we need to cure ourselves. The problem is that sometimes when we're sick spiritually, we don't realize that the sickness increases because we don't seek remedy until it impacts our heart and maybe cause us to die, our heart to die. But Imam Al-Ghazali, very practical, says that a person might have an environment that does not helping them to do what they need to do to take care of the spiritual need. For one day, around the good gathering, like how many people went to a Muslim conference and they can become a better individual? Many people. Because of the collective goodness in society. How many times we go to halaqa or a gathering? I just was with the Allah bless him, Sheikh Yahya Rodas. I was yesterday in the gathering in Pennsylvania. When people come together, then it softens people's heart. And soften people's heart, it creates this kind of a safety net. Safety net. That's why the best thing you can have is a good friend. Trust me. إذا أراد الله بامرئ خيرا رزقه خليلا صالحا. If Allah wants good for somebody, give them a good friend. إن نسي ذكره. If a person were to forget, that person remind them. Your salah. Don't forget this. Don't forget that. نسي ذكره. وإن ذكر أعانه. Says, do you remember the class? Do you remember you had the class today? Yeah. Do you need a ride? Make it easier. Do you need a ride? I'm driving my way. I can pick you up. That is i'ana. You see people doing good things in the world. Motivate them more. If people helping our brothers and sisters in Libya or in Morocco, I see people like in relief, Brother Anwar is here. You see member of our community going in the middle of the earthquake. When they come back, they walk into the masjid to say, Subhanallah, I saw you. I helped an earthquake. How can I help you to do more? This is my donation. Jazakallah khair. Motivate people. Encourage them to do more. That's how you have a support system. You value people and you give them the encouragement they need to continue, keep going. You see young people in the masjid. Said, MashaAllah, la quwwata illa billah. I'm very happy to see new young person in the masjid. We become happy seeing children in the masjid. Encouraging them. Therefore, this i'ana, وَتَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى. Collaborate, help one another to do what is right for righteousness. وَلَا تَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْإِثْمِ وَالْعُدْوَانِ. Don't help each other to do what is wrong. But encouragement is very important between us so that we can do more. And then he talks about why people don't do tahajjud. Sometimes because maybe in your home that have a nice bed and have with electric blanket. La hawla wa la quwwata. Very dangerous. Even for Fajr. Forget about tahajjud. Electric blanket, it's nice. I tried that myself. I'm telling you. La hawla wa la quwwata. Very difficult to get out of that blanket. It used to be, if the scholar has a word of tahajjud, not Fajr, and missed his tahajjud, you know what he does? He sleeps in the floor next day. He said to his nafs, listen, you shouldn't do that. I'm going to give you a hard floor, no mattress. What if people missing Fajr and like nothing happened? I'm going to pray subh or fajr, and the sun is at 8 o'clock in the morning. He makes him siwak as if nothing happened. Maybe get dressed first, wear his suit to go to work, and then he pray fajr, the sun is up. You don't miss appointment at work, do you? Do you miss your appointment at work? How come it's an appointment with Allah? Subhanallah. But I know, yet it's good that person still praying. That's nothing getting him to miss Fajr, but it's still good they're praying because other people don't, they don't pray to begin with. But you want the person to pray Fajr on time. You cannot say to Allah, I'm going to pray whenever I think I can pray. Allah said, Inna salata kana al-mu'mina kitaban mawquta. There's specific time for prayer. He said to Allah, no, I'm not going to pray what the time He told me. I'm going to pray the time that I think I can pray. You don't do that with human being, do you? And he said also, a person have difficulty fasting alone by themselves, voluntary fasting, but when he sees group of people fasting, that will encourage them to fast. And then he said, this is really a good thing to happen to a person, that to be in a gathering where they encourage you to do what is good. He said, therefore, a person down now should work in make their actions sincere. Now he or she go home and pray by themselves. They don't care if people have seen them praying or not. But that gathering, initial gathering, have encouraged them to pray, but it made them continue to pray with sincerity. He said that some people, for example, they might travel and they go and see a masjid, a beautiful masjid. A person never prayed Jummah. You see, this beautiful masjid. Let me go to the Jummah. And they go to the Jummah, and maybe that lead them never to leave the Jummah afterward. Or when I heard there's a speaker coming in town, but never used to come to Jummah, they come because of the speaker. It's okay to come. Don't tell them, you never go to Jummah. You go because of him. Astaghfirullah al-Azim. You're showing up. Let them go to the masjid. Maybe the teaching will soften their heart. They start coming to Jummah. Shaitan wants you to stop doing good deeds. Any window of opportunity that make you come back to Allah, jump on it. And allow people to come through it. Don't prevent it. That is the whole point of Imam al-Ghazali here today. And he said also, a person might come to the masjid and attend Taraweeh or prayer, and people start crying because of the Imam, or the Imam start crying. Because the Imam cried, you cried. And he said, did I cry because other people cried? Maybe he's showing off. Maybe next day I'm not going to go to the Taraweeh. It becomes showing off. He said, no. Now the test of you is when now your heart is softened, do you cry when you pray alone? It become a habit for you to contemplate and reflect in the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For the point here that we're making today is that the importance of social environment, of leading us to correct our behavior and to do what is right. And that's why coming to the masjid, coming to the gathering is a very important for all of us. Now, one of the things that help all of us is istighfar. All of us will have challenges. I might do something not completely sincere on it. He said what help a person to do a lot of istighfar. Astaghfirullah al-azim wa atubu ilayhi. Astaghfirullah al-azim wa atubu ilayhi. Astaghfirullah al-azim wa atubu. Rasulullah used to do istighfar 100 times a day, sometimes 70 times a day. Or what helped us is to do istighfar. I'm going to say one more thing and then have you to leave, because I don't want you to stay the whole entire time. There will be like more than 1 hour. And I don't want to do that. There's a dua of Al-Husayn, Ali ibn al-Husayn. Ali ibn al-Husayn, radallahu anhum alayhim as-salam. He used to make this dua. I want you to hear this dua. اللهم إني أعوذ بك أن تحسن في لامعة العيون علانيتي وتقبح لك فيما أخلو سريرتي. He used to say, Oh Allah, I seek refuge by you that I can look good in the eyes of people, and then I look bad in your eyes in my private. محافظا على رياء الناس من نفسي. I'm so keen to show off in my action, to have people recognize, acknowledge my action. ومضيعا لما أنت مطلع عليه مني. And I'm wasting and not keen to protect what you see of me. أبدي للناس أحسن أمري. I show the people the best of me. وأفضي إليك بأسوأ عملي. And when I'm private, I do the worst of my action. تقربا إلى الناس بحسناتي. I seek with my hasanat people acknowledgement. وفرارا منهم إليك بسيئاتي. And then I do and conceal my sayyat from them. ويحل بي مقتك. Then you might become angry with me. ويجب علي غضبك. And then your wrath descend upon me. أعذني من ذلك يا رب العالمين. Allah, protect me from having this kind of, or the Lord of the worlds, protect me from this. For me, just explaining what he says, showing the best of myself in public, and my private have worse of myself. Keening toward show people the best of me, but I am not keening to be good in my private. وقال أحد الثلاثة نفر لأيوب عليه السلام يا أيوب لم تعلم أن الذين حفظوا علانيتهم وضاعوا سرائرهم عند طلب الحاجات إلى الرحمن يسود وجوههم. Said to Ayyub عليه السلام, don't you know those who حفظوا علانيتهم, they look perfect in public and in private they don't do what is supposed to be done, or their outward, they make the outward look good but the inward is not good. فهذه جملة أفات الرياء. He said the showing off is destroying the inward and perfecting outward. That's the definition of riya that Imam al-Ghazali did. I want you just to say one thing, and next class we'll finish this chapter, by the way, inshallah. Allah sees the hearts of people. Does not see my kufi, does not see my shal, does not see me. He does not judge me by those. He judges me with my heart. If our heart is with Allah, that's what counts in the eyes of Allah. If our heart is people, our heart being given surrender to people, is I get happy if people acknowledge me. I get unhappy if people don't acknowledge me. I do everything for the sake of people. Then I wasted my heart. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala see my heart, and my heart is not the right place. My heart is not for Him. Allah created this heart to be His. Don't give it to somebody else. Let's make our life Allah-centered. Allah-centered. Nothing else. Nothing else matters. Because really, when I'm facing my last moment of my life, laying in my bed facing my Lord, nothing matters after that. Nothing matters. Not my picture in the wall. I don't put pictures in my wall, alhamdulillah. But no picture in my wall or my Facebook. Doesn't matter. When I'm facing my Lord, only here Allah looked at, which is hidden. Only Allah sees the hearts. Did anyone can see each other's hearts? We can't. And therefore, when you make it for Allah alone, and make Allah centered, that's what matters. إِنَّمَا نُطْعِمُكُمْ لِوَجْهِ اللَّهِ. We feed you all for the sake of Allah. When a person do something for others, for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The final thing I want to say to you, that don't let shaitan prevent us from doing good deeds because people come to know about it. That's very dangerous. If you do something and people come to know about it, shaitan comes and says, don't do it anymore. No. Do more of it. Because you're going to encourage other people to do good. Actually, in this chapter, Imam Ghazali elaborated on that. He said, the most dangerous thing shaitan come to you, he says, you're doing this, you're not doing it for Allah. Become like advisor. I said, no. I'm going to continue doing it, but I'm going to make my niyyah purified. You're not going to destroy my actions. You're not going to stop me doing good deeds. I'm going to continue to help people. I'm going to continue to reach out to people. Don't come to me and say to me, I'm doing for Allah. Don't try to destroy my action to stop me from helping others. Therefore, it's very important not to have this spiritual depressions. You heard of it? So depression, like you feel no motivated, no more to do good deeds because shaitan come and destroy your intention, destroy more. You're not motivated anymore. But push the showing off and continue doing it. You know why? Imam Ghazali said, because, rahimahullah, say if I'm doing soup kitchen. Who's benefiting from the soup kitchen? Who's benefiting? The person who's hungry. Shaitan came to him and said, don't do soup kitchen anymore. He's showing off. What did he do? He let that person go what? Hungry. If all of us stop doing it, what happened? That person suffer. And shaitan is happy that have another Muslim suffer. Or a human being suffer. Therefore he said, don't let shaitan come stop you from doing good. Continue to do good and purify your heart. Because the minute you stop doing good, shaitan says, I won. I killed his motivation. Therefore, if you're volunteering in the masjid, and shaitan comes to you and says, don't do it anymore. Who's going to volunteer? If all the volunteers says, we're going to be mukhlasin, sincere, we're going to stay at home, and because it's showing off, it's impacting our heart. Who's going to help the masjid? That is a danger of seeking a spiritual path that is not correct. Therefore, you have to push this away. Restate your niyyah, your intention. He said, you teach in a class, like I'm teaching you a class now. Shaitan comes and says to me, this Monday class you teach, you're showing off. Don't teach it anymore. Work in your hearts. Stay home. I don't teach the class. Shaykh Abdul Rafi, Shaitan comes to him and said the same thing. He comes to the Imam Abdul Malik Merchants. He comes to Shaykh Ihya Ulum Al-Din. And you stop teaching. Is that good? You do not do that. You work on your hearts. Continue to do good deeds as much as you can. Otherwise, you stop doing it. I know some volunteers quit because shaitan gave them wrong ideas. I know them. And I told them, don't do that. Alhamdulillah, after I talked to them, they start coming back volunteering. I said, don't allow shaitan to play you. He's very good in it. That's what his role is to confuse you. Keep coming, huh? اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت وعافنا فيمن عافيت تولنا فيمن توليت اكفنا شر ما قضيت انك تقضي بالحق ولا يقضى عليك اللهم اجعل جمعنا هذا جمعا مرحوما تفرقنا من بعده تفرقا معصوما ولا تجعل فينا ولا منا ولا بيننا شقيا ولا محروما اللهم نسألك رضاك والجنة ونعوذ بك من سخطك والنار وادخلنا الجنة مع الأبرار برحمتك يا عزيز يا غفار اللهم اشف مرضانا ومرضى المسلمين اللهم رب الناس اذهب الباس اشف انت الشافي لا شفاء الا شفاءك شفاء لا يغادر سقما ونزل من القران ما هو شفاء ورحمه المؤمنين برحمتك يا ارحم الراحمين اللهم ارحم امواتنا واموات المسلمين اللهم اغفر لهم وارحمهم وعافهم واعف عنهم واكرم نزلهم وسع مدخلهم واصم خطاياهم بالماء والثلج والبرد والله we ask you to bless our gathering to purify our hearts from envy, from showing off, from jealousy, from grudge, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Oh Allah, help us to do more for your sake, Ya Allah, and help all of us to be together, encouraging one another to do what is good, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Oh Allah, we ask you to protect us and to protect our family and our offspring and our children, and to protect our community, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Oh Allah, guide all of us to do what is pleasing to you, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Oh Allah, make us in the company of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Day of Judgment, and offer all of us, Ya Allah, the opportunity to drink from His hand. Ya Allah, oh Allah, we ask you to purify our intention. Purify our intention. Purify our intention. Oh Allah, we ask you to forgive the sins of those who pass away from our family, to widen their grave, shower them with your mercy and forgiveness. Oh Allah, among us, those who are physically sick, give them healing, Ya Allah, from all the physical sickness. Oh Allah, heal us from the spiritual sickness. Oh Allah, give us good health in our mental state, in our spiritual state, psychological state, Ya Rabbal Alameen. والله accept our dua and supplication. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. جزاكم الله خير. السلام عليكم.